All right, so we're going to talk about graphing some lines. And one of the first things that I like to talk about is just using a point and a slope. So with this, you only ever need two pieces of information in order to graph any line. You have to have at least a starting point and you have to have a direction. So literally all you're going to do with this is you have to, find your starting point. So you're going to plot your point, and then you're going to, I like to say you're counting your slope. So remember, the slope is always rise over run. So when you're talking about that rise over run, what you're going to do is you're literally just going to figure out how many points up and then how many points over. So let's take an example. I'm going to do a point through, I'll do -2 and 3. And I'll say that we've got a slope of, I'll say we've got a slope of 1/2. So when we plot this, and I always like to remind folks, label your axes, it's important. Okay, we need to find our starting point here. So our starting point is going to be -2, 3. So we're going to go back 2. So on here on this x-axis, we're moving back 2, 1, 2, and then we're going up 3, 1, 2, 3. So here's that starting point, that -2, 3. Now I've got, when I look at this, I've got a rise of 1 and a run of 2. So this is going to go up 1 and over 2. And I can do this as often as I need to. This can go up 1 and over 2. Up 1, over 2. And it doesn't matter, I hope you'll be able to tell that it doesn't matter what, where you start. You could start here on the y-axis, you could start at any other point, and you're still going to be able to plot this line. So let's see. Yeah, it's going to be something. So we'll just draw a nice line through all of that, and we're done. The nice thing with this is there is very little calculation. When you're doing this, it is literally just counting, which is the awesome thing with most graphing is or can be this simple, especially when you're dealing with lines. Now, here I just explicitly gave us a point and a slope. Now, the nice thing is a lot of our equations, a lot of the things that we can do, or a lot of the equations actually have this information built into it. So if you're given an equation in that form of y equals mx plus b, so if you're given an equation in that y equals mx plus b, you'll notice here that my slope is right there. M is our slope. And b, 0b, is our y-intercept. So this is going to be where we start on the y-axis. So let's say I've got an equation like this. I'll say we've got y is equal to -2x plus 8. So looking at this, just reading the equation, I can see that this number right here is going to be our slope. Whatever is attached to that x, and it has to be in this format, by the way, it has to be y equals something. I can tell that my slope is going to be -2. And thinking about this in a little bit, I'll also note that this could be the same thing as like -2 over 1. So I've got a fall of 2. Instead of a rise, we have a fall, and for a run of 1. And my y-intercept is 0, 8. So now we have everything that we need to graph. We've got a point, we've got a slope, x, y, and we just need that starting point. And let's see. Our starting point is going to be up here at 8. So everywhere on the y-axis, x is equal to 0. So I've got 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I'm going to count out that slope. Instead of a +2, this is a -2. So this is going to go down 2, but a +1 in the x direction. So it's moving to it's continuing to move right. So it's going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And I made a mistake. I actually graphed, I started here at 7 instead of 8. So I can, let me see if I can erase this. I might be able to. Sadly, this is a wet erase marker, so this makes this a little bit more complicated to erase than most of my other things. There we go. So let me fix this. Let's fix our graph here. So yeah, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. It would start up here, but still we've got, it's going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And now we can go ahead and graph our line. Now, there's a couple things I want to note. A lot of times people will get confused about signs with this. It's like, why am I not going back 2? This slope is -2. I could technically write a -2 as 2 over -1. If I do that, think about what that would mean. I would have a rise of 2. So that would be from here, I would go up 2, and then it would go 1 in the negative direction. It would be back here. So I could go up 2 and then back 1, up 2 and then back 1. And that's how we graph with a point and a slope. Okay.